Today we're looking at Theme 2 Rights and Responsibilities of the AQA GCSE Citizenship course. We're looking at rights and responsibilities within the legal system, particularly who represents me in court. In session 5 we're going to look at what the key words are to remember. We're then going to move on to look at the 3 branches of the legal profession. This will involve an activity that I'll explain to you. Finally, we'll finish off by looking at what the citizen's advice is. A lawyer is a generic term used to describe anyone who is a licensed legal practitioner qualified to give legal advice in one or more areas of law. In the UK, there are 3 main branches of the legal profession. These are legal executive, solicitor, and barrister. You need to know the difference between these 3 roles. Here are some key words to remember. The Queen's Counsel. Barristers may apply to become QCs, Queen's Counsels, or KCs, King's Counsels, if there is a king on the throne. This is recognition by their profession that they have become experts in their own field. Legal executives. They're legally qualified specialists employed largely by solicitors. Solicitors. Mainly graduates who cover a range of legal work, both civil and criminal, and have to be formally qualified. It's important to remember that barristers also need to be formally qualified, and they need to study longer than a solicitor to become a barrister. Often you will find barristers delivering a case in court, whereas solicitors tend to compile the arguments, compile the paperwork, and provide the case for barristers who then may deliver it in court. We've just finished looking at the keywords. Now we're going to look at the 3 branches of the legal profession in a bit more detail. I would suggest you create a table headed with the 3 types of lawyers we've just looked at. I will read a statement to you, and you must write it under the correct heading, whether it applies to a barrister, a solicitor, or a legal executive. It could also apply to all 3, or it may even apply to just 2 of the 3. Most senior ones apply to become members of the Queen's Counsel. They are appointed by the Queen to be one of Her Majesty's Counsel learned in the law. You should know the answer to this one. It was on the last slide. The answer is barrister. They are legally qualified. The answer is all of them. They are employed by solicitors. Again, another piece of information that was available on the last slide. Barrister and legal executives. They get paid the most out of all 3. Barrister. They are regulated by the Institute of Legal Executives. The answer is legal executive. They undertake most of their work in magistrates' court and county courts, both in the preparation in the case and advocacy. Advocacy refers to a skill of being able to present a point of view on behalf of someone else. The answer is solicitor. They must have a law degree. Barrister and solicitor. After a law degree, they must undertake professional training of a 1-year legal practice course and then 2 years under training in a solicitor's practice. The answer is solicitor. They are regulated by the Law Society. Solicitor. They can work in a magistrate's court but mainly work in Crown Courts, High Courts or the Appeal Court. Barrister. They specialise in more than one area of law but generally in similar fields, e.g. criminal or civil. Barrister and solicitor. What this means is that a barrister or solicitor may specialise in divorce, but may also specialise in wills and inheritance. Those are 2 separate areas of law, but they both fall under civil law. So that would mean that they're a lawyer that works in civil cases, but they may specialise in more than one area of law within civil law. They are employed by a solicitor to work with the solicitor's client on their behalf, but they are independent of the solicitor and make their own decisions about how to proceed with the case. Barrister. They only specialise in one area of law, legal executive. After the law degree, they undergo a bar vocational course and then a pupillage, which is an on-the-job training with a qualified barrister. The answer is barrister. They provide advice and assistance and are in charge of preparing the case. They are instructed directly by clients and are typically the first point of contact for their clients. Clients can range from individual members of the public, businesses, companies, government organisations and charities. Solicitors. They work for themselves but often share premises known as chambers with other people with the same job as them. Barristers. You should have a good amount of information on the role of barristers, legal executives and solicitors. You do not need to know the roles inside out, but you need to have a good understanding of how each role is different in their own way. We finished looking at the 3 branches of the legal profession. We're now going to look at what is citizens' advice. Citizens' advice was previously known as the Citizens' Advice Bureau. It is a network of 316 independent charities throughout the UK that give free, confidential information and advice to assist people with money, legal, consumer and other problems. Each area has a citizen's advice that you can go and visit if you need any advice about legal matters. For your exam, you need to know a bit about the citizen's advice and the services they provide. This is a screenshot of their website, and as you can see, they provide advice in various areas of law. You don't need to know too much about citizen's advice, but you do need to know that it is a service that exists to provide legal support for citizens. And you need to be able to give some examples of the type of legal support they might provide. If you want to look at the website in more detail, it's here for you to look at: www.citizensadvice.org.uk. It's not only a useful website to find information to revise for your citizenship exam, but it's also a useful website for citizens of the UK. We've come to the end of session 5. I hope it's been helpful, and please feel free to contact me if you need any additional help using the comments box. Remember to like my videos and subscribe.